Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the 2024 edition of the Gridiron Football Player of the Week. I'm your host, Jace Lejeune, and we're back, baby. We're back for the third, I guess you can say the third annual Gridiron Football Player of the Week show. We did 2 years ago, and it was just Louisiana only. Last year, we branched out of state, and our Gridiron Football Player of the Year was Kavian Bryant from Westwood High School in Palestine, Texas, and he was our Player of the Year. So it was we grew it leaps and bounds. We got the fans involved last year, and we want to get the fans involved this year once again. Now we are really excited about this year, and I think the Gridiron Football Player of the Week show is going to be bigger and better and than it was the last 2 years. Like we're super excited. We are hyping this up going to another season, and we're super excited to go over the Player of the Week in Week 1. So we're super pumped for it, and I'm super thrilled to go over the results. I know all of y'all are waiting on who won this week's Gridiron Football Player of the Week. So say, all right, Jace, come on, let's get on with it because we want to see who actually won, and we'll go over who won. But just to get you all an idea of how this works. Now, every week after Friday night, Saturday morning, we always send this to high school coaches all across the country, and they send their nominations. So we actually get the chance to mention every nominee, no matter if it was from a fan or from a coach. We also including the fans this year with nominations. So you saw that on social media. So some of these have actually been nominated by the fans. So if you want to get involved with it, just make sure to comment and post on social media. Make sure to tag us at Gridiron Football so that way we can get your nomination. So we definitely want to get the fans involved with this. And really, week 1 is going to show you how big this really is because we had about 50 nominations from about 4 different states. I think Louisiana, Texas, Alabama. And I think we even had one submission from Alaska. So we're really excited about branding this out to more and more states and getting more and more states involved. Well, we had 50 nominations. We narrowed down to 11. So what we did is, as a staff, we got together and we narrowed down our top 11 performances, but we want the fans to get involved. So the fans actually get the chance to vote. And whoever gets the most votes by, I think it was Thursday by noon, would be the Gridiron Football Player of the Week. And now, since we got the results are in. We are going to go over right now the Gridiron Football Players of the Week. So I'm sure y'all ready. We're going to get started. Let's dive deep into it, and we're going to go with our number 11 spot, and then we're going to go out of state right off the bat. And it's a Naaman Forest 2025 quarterback, D'Angelo Perales. So D'Angelo Perales is our number 11 player of the week. He had 212 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Shows you what kind of dynamic dual threat quarterback he is because not only had 212 passing yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, he also had 226 rushing yards and another rushing touchdown. So he had about 448 total yards of offense by himself and 3 touchdowns. And despite it came from the loss, still a really good individual performance by D'Angelo Perales in a 55-35 loss to Princeton. So congratulations, D'Angelo, for making a list and being our number 11 guy. We're also going to stay in the state of Texas for number 10. The number 10 guy is Cibolo Steele, 2025 quarterback Chad Warner. Now, there were actually 2 players from Cibolo Steele that actually were nominees for the Gridiron Football Player of the Week, but it was a quarterback, Chad Warner, that cracked our list. He ended up completing 16 of 21 passes, very efficient performance for 358 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had just as many incompletions as touchdown passes. You can't go wrong with that. Very efficient performance for Chad Warner. He's going to have himself a big year, senior quarterback, one of the best in the state of Texas. So he's going to have a big year, and it did come off with a win. So not only was he efficient, he threw for a lot of yards, threw for a lot of touchdowns, but he also led his team to win in a 62-34 win over S.A. Reagan. Congratulations, Chad, for being our number 10 performer. based on votes. Now, just in case everybody's wondering, these are all based on the fans' votes. So we go into number 9, and we're going to go to Louisiana. We're going to go back in state, and that is Leesville 2025 running back Xavier Ford. Xavier Ford is one of the top running backs in the state of Louisiana. He is a good one, and they're going to rely on this Wampus Cat running back all season long. Leesville's been known for great running backs, and Xavier Ford is just another one in a long list of very established runners for the Wampus Cats. 40 carries for 311 yards and 6 touchdowns. You would think if you ran for 300 yards and 6 touchdowns that your team would have won, but it's a sneak peek, I would say, until another player that got the edge on Xavier in this game. But Xavier is going to be really good all year long for this Wampus Cats team. 311 yards, 6 touchdowns. Came up in a losing effort, though, 56-41 to Sam Houston. Xavier Ford has been rushing for a lot of yards and touchdowns over his Wampus Cats career, and he's off to another great start after a great Week 1 performance. So that was our first in-state guy. We might as well keep it at the running back position as we go to number 8, and that is we're going to go down south. Down there in the New Orleans area, we're going to go to Warren Easton High School, where running back Thomas Vaughn really exploded to a huge win over LB Landry. 61-27 is the final score. Thomas Vaughn is the number 8 player of the week for Gridiron Football. Thomas had 13 carries for 347 yards and 4 touchdowns was your final stat line. 347 yards and 4 touchdowns is very impressive. And to make it even put like an extra exclamation point to it, he did on only 13 carries. So I'm not great at math. That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm a sports journalist. Because I'm not no good with numbers. But it has to be around, 20, 30 yards a carry is his final number. So very impressive from Thomas Vaughn. Congratulations, Thomas, on the great performance. And I know Warren Easton, after missing most of last season, that was a great way to start the 2024 season. So congratulations, Thomas, on the great performance. 2026 running back, one of the top ones out there. So congratulations to him. Then we go to our number 7 player. So Louisiana's not all about rushing the football. They can throw the football a little bit. They can play pitch and catch. And we're going to go to up in Shreveport. We're going to go up north Louisiana. We'll go to and talk about one of the top receivers in North Louisiana. And he comes from the Airline Vikings. Airline 2026 wide receiver Kenny Darby, and he is a really good one. Kenny Darby is one of the top players in the class of 2026, and he had himself one of the best performances you can really have as a wide receiver. And we know about the Airline Vikings that they can throw the football. So the Mississippi State commit had himself a really big one. So this is a future SEC football player, and he showed why on Friday night in a shootout. 52-49 win over the Barb Buccaneers. Yeah, this is pretty impressive numbers for a wide receiver through 2 or 3 games, but this was just one game. 17 catches for 315 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they needed every one of those catches, they needed every one of those touchdowns because it came in a 3-point win, like I mentioned, over Barb. Airline, they're going to have a bunch of nominations this year for Gridiron Football Player of the Week, and Kenny Darby is the first one. I'm sure we'll get some from their quarterback Ben Taylor this year. They got another really good wide receiver on the opposite side, Kenny too. So, yep, Airline is going to be on this list a whole bunch. So, number 7 debut for the Vikings this week, but I know they'll be in the running for a number 1 running pretty soon. Now let's go to our number 6 Gridiron Football Player of the Week. He's actually one of our player profile card guys. So if you go to our website, you go to player profile cards, you'll see, you can keep up with this guy all year long, and he is St. Paul's quarterback, Brennan Kime. Brennan Kime had a great performance at our Gridiron Football League camp in Covington this offseason, and it looks like he's had a great start to his senior season playing for the St. Paul's Wolves. Very efficient, just like earlier when we talked about Chad Warner, who was later down our list, but Brennan Kime, also very efficient. completed 17 of 20 passes for 258 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he had more touchdown passes than incompletions. That's as good as you can possibly play as a quarterback, and he did so very efficient. Great kickoff performance for Brendan Keim and the Wolves. Did so against a pretty good up and rising football team in the Live Oak Eagles that have a lot of talent. They won pretty big, 48-14 over Live Oak. Congratulations on St. Paul's quarterback Brendan Keim. Now number six Gridiron Football Player of the Week. You can also keep track of his games, Brendan's, all year long on our website. Go to gridironfootballusa.com and check out player profile cards at the very top. Now we go to our top 5. And this one is a pretty impressive two-way performance. And we're going to go to Baker High School. Baker High School wide receiver Roy McBride. And he did on both sides of the football. That's why we got him in as a nomination representing the Buffaloes. Not only he did on offense, he ended up with 4 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown, but it was also what he did on defense that got him over the top as a nominee. Pretty impressive numbers for a defensive back. 4 tackles, 3 PBUs, and 3 interceptions in one game, including the game clincher to win the game for the Buffaloes in a 20-14 win over the Terra Trojans. Great win for Coach D'Artes and the Baker Buffaloes to start the season, and even excellent performance by Roy McBride, who comes in at our number 5 spot. And how about the Baker community stepping up? 3,493 votes in total for Roy McBride. Congratulations for Roy making our top 5 this week. Now we go to number 4, and it's funny, I actually talked to his dad at the LSU Nichols game, after the LSU Nichols game when I was on the field, because his son is one of the top recruits in the 2026 class in the state of Louisiana, and that is Terrebonne running back Alvin Celestine Jr. He can play running back. He can play wide receiver. He can do it all. He's one of the top players in the 2026 class in Louisiana. On the ground, he had 13 carries for 213 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. Very impressive numbers. Almost similar numbers to what Thomas Vaughn put up for Warren Easton. He had 4 rushing touchdowns plus 4 catches for 41 yards, a 2-point conversion, and then one of those 4 touchdowns actually ended up being the game-winning touchdown in the final minute over a really good Riverside Academy football team that's expected to make a run for a state championship. 48-42 over Riverside Academy. Congratulations, Alvin. Great performance. It shows you what kind of dynamic all-around athlete he really is. And it was a great push early on for Terrebonne that allowed Alvin to be in the top 4 this week. He secured 3,589 votes to claim the number 4 spot. Now we'll go into our top 3, and we're going to go to Frederick Douglass. How about Frederick Douglass making the top 3 for week 1 Gridiron Football Player of the Week? Frederick Douglass, defensive end / linebacker, Vito Odom. Pretty impressive performance, I would say, on the defensive side of the football. You got to get those defensive guys involved for sure. Vito had 14 tackles, an impressive 7 TFLs. We want to spotlight the defensive performances, right? 4 sacks, a forced fumble, and they did their job as Frederick Douglass got a 28-14 win over Cohen. Congratulations to Frederick Douglass, Vito Odom. What a defensive performance. Really led this Frederick Douglass defense to get that win, 2-touchdown win over Cohen, and Vito Odom did it all. 14 tackles, 7 TFLs, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. And then they got 4,567 votes. Congratulations to Vito making our top 3, cracking our top 3. And then we will go to our number 2 performer, and that is Sam Houston, 2025 running back Drew Bailey. So we go to Lake Charles for our number 2 player. Drew Bailey, we talked about Xavier Ford, who was, I believe, our number 9 performer. And Drew Bailey He's the reason why Xavier Ford and Leesville lost that game, despite Xavier running for 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's just because Drew Bailey also had a performance when he had 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. So most specifically, 32 carries, 310 yards, and 6 touchdowns in that 56-41 win over Leesville. Also add 4 catches for 42 yards. So if you like offense, you like running backs, well, that Leesville Sam Houston game was the game for you. Over 600 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns between the two. What a great running back performance by the both of them. But it was the guy who got the upper hand in the win column as the Broncos get that 56-41 win over Leesville. Congratulations to Drew Bailey for being our number 2 performer. They got a lot of push in that Lake Charles area for that number 1 spot. Over 10,000 votes for Drew Bailey, 10,789. Congratulations to Drew for being our number 2 player. Before we go to our number 1 player, I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated in our Gridiron Football Week 1 Player of the Week vote. We appreciate everybody for stepping up and voting for their favorite athlete. So we really do appreciate the support. And if you want to continue to support what we do in promoting high school athletes and promoting also the Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game, we encourage you to donate. Just a couple of bucks will be great for your contribution, because what we're going to do at our Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game is we're trying to raise enough money so we can give scholarships to the MVPs for both teams on the offensive side and the defensive side, because that's what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to help high school athletes, and that's what we're all about. So if you want to help pitch in the cause and help grow the sport of football, of course, in the South and Louisiana and above across the country, and support or rising Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game, make sure to donate, because when you go and vote, there will be a donate button that comes up on the website. So we definitely want y'all to be involved. All right, guys, here we go. Our number 1 performer, Gridiron Football Player of the Week performer, is St. Thomas More 2025 defensive back Brian Broussard. And I have to heartily agree with this one. In fact, I even voted for Brian Broussard to win the Player of the Week this week. And I mean, you can't argue against the numbers, because this is a very rare performance to have on the defensive side of football. And sometimes not a lot of defensive players win Player of the Week, but when you have a performance like this, you have to. Brian Broussard was the difference in a 21-20 win over Carencro. He had 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions, 4 PBUs, 5 assisted tackles, and one of those PBUs actually happened to be the game-clinching PBU to preserve a 21-20 win over Carencro. And it's not like they were playing against an offense that was not good. They were playing against a Carencro Golden Bears led by one of the best quarterbacks in the state in Chance Babineau, and Brian Broussard. A little bit of a lower scoring St. Thomas More Carencro game than a lot of people expected, but it was a defense that came up on top. And most notably, Brian Broussard, 4 interceptions. That's an incredible year on the defensive side of football. But Brian Broussard did that in one game. 4 interceptions. I voted for Brian. That was definitely well-deserved. So congratulations to Brian Broussard. We're going to try again an interview with Brian after this. We'll pop up sometime Friday morning before. I know St. Thomas More's got to get ready for another big one. They're playing against the Catholic High Bears. So we'll try to see if we can catch up with Brian Broussard later on, and hopefully we put that up on Friday morning. And also congratulations to Brian. We've done this last year too. But all of our Player of the Week winners not only will receive an interview from Gridiron Football, but they'll also win a pretty cool Letterman jacket patch. So Brian Broussard will get a pretty cool Letterman jacket patch. He can put on his Letterman jacket, show off to his friends at school, show off to his family members that he was our Gridiron Football Player of the Week. So we'll mail that to Brian pretty soon. But congratulations to Brian Broussard. He is our Gridiron Football Week 1 Player of the Week. And because he was Player of the Week, Brian will also be in the running for a Gridiron Football Player of the Year. All of our Gridiron Football Player of the Weeks will be also nominated for our Player of the Year. So congratulations, Brian, on being our Week 1 Player of the Week. Well, guys, that's going to be about it from me. If you just missed the cut, we have all of our nominees will be listed on our website, including more of a breakdown of our top 10. So make sure to check out our website if you want to go and look at the incomplete list of all of our nominees. You can go and check them out at gridironfootballusa.com. Well, if you miss out being our number 1 player of the week, don't worry. There's always next week. And our rule here at Gridiron Football is we're not going to try to get the same person to win multiple times. So Brian can be nominated again, but he can't win multiple Gridiron Football Player of the Weeks. But he did win Week 1. So, and then, Brian's going to be nominated for a Player of the Year as well. So congratulations, Brian, on an incredible performance, 4 interceptions. That is what I call a Gridiron Football Player of the Week. So, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I hope everybody's staying safe through the storm. I know that was kind of a big thing as well, and that's why I'm actually doing it remote. Usually I'm going to have a co-host with me to break down these Player of the Week shows, but since the storm was a little weird, kind of threw us back for a loop a little bit, I had to record this one solo. But next week we'll have a co-host as well, as the both of us will also break down each and every performance each and every week. So fans, continue to vote, continue to support these athletes, and we'll see you all next time on another edition of the Gridiron Football Player of the Week show.